All right, let's dive into a really cool little story today. It's called The Little Tuner of Nazareth. And honestly, it's one of those parables that just sticks with you. It's all about a simple, wobbly stool, but it unpacks this huge idea about finding our stability, not by trying to get rid of our imperfections, but by learning how to work with them.
So let's just start right there, with the feeling I think we all know. You ever have those days, or, maybe even a whole season of life where you just feel off, a little unbalanced, like you're supposed to have it all together, but deep down something just wobbles? Yeah, this story gets that. It starts right in that feeling of being just a little bit out of sync.
So, picture this. We're in a workshop in Nazareth. You can almost smell that rich, sweet scent of cedar wood in the air. That late afternoon sun is slanting through the window, lighting up all the little dust motes dancing around. And in the middle of all this, a young Jesus is staring at a small wooden stool, and he's completely stumped by this simple but super frustrating problem.
And this is what's driving him nuts. He's done everything right. I mean, the measurements are perfect. The angles are exact. On paper, this thing should be rock solid. But in reality, it's not working. The stool just refuses to sit still. It's that classic, maddening gap between the way things should be and the way they actually are.
So what's his first move? Well, it's a very human one, isn't it? He blames something else. It can't be the stool, so it must be the floor. The floor is crooked. I mean, how many times have we done that? When we feel unsteady, our first instinct is often to look outside ourselves and blame our situation, our job, other people, anything but the thing itself.
But then his father, Joseph, steps in. A master carpenter, a guy who probably understands wood on a whole different level. And he offers a completely different diagnosis, one that goes way deeper than just a crooked floor.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You see this contrast in thinking, right? The knee-jerk reaction is to blame the external world, but the carpenter's wisdom says, hold on. Before you blame the floor, have you really tried to understand the material you're working with? It's a shift from seeing an external problem to understanding an internal story. The wood itself has a memory.
And this line, wow, it just says it all. Joseph explains that this piece of wood didn't just pop into existence. It has a history. It grew on a mountain, and it spent its whole life fighting against the wind. That struggle literally became part of its grain. So the wobble, it isn't some random defect. It's a memory. It's a piece of its story. And our own struggles do the same thing to us, don't they? They shape us.
So Joseph sees the wood's history, its past. But his son sees something else. He sees its present spirit, its energy. And this insight takes the whole situation from a simple carpentry lesson to something much bigger.
And here it is. This is the huge shift in perspective. The stool isn't broken. The wobble isn't a mistake. It's just an old identity. The wood is still living out its old life, still remembering what it felt like to be a branch swaying in the breeze. It hasn't fully accepted its new purpose, its new potential to be something strong and stable.
And as Jesus is trying to understand this, the story brings in this beautiful idea of resonance. It's described as this perfect, clear hum. It's the sound an object makes when it finally finds its true frequency, its perfect state of alignment. It's the sound of finding your place, of everything just clicking.
This leads us right to the solution. See, if the wood isn't actually broken, then it doesn't need to be fixed. You don't need to cut off its flaws or force it into shape. It needs something totally different, something gentler and a whole lot smarter. I mean, just look at the difference here. The typical way of fixing things is kind of violent, right? You saw, you cut, you force, you basically amputate the part that doesn't fit. But the method of aligning, that's about listening. It's about gently working with the nature of the thing, not fighting against it. You don't get rid of the flaw, you find a way to integrate it. And his process is almost like a meditation. First, he just listens. He's trying to understand the wood. Then he gently loosens the joints. He creates a little bit of space, a little wiggle room for change to happen. Then he feels for that one perfect point of balance, that true center. And once he finds it, he secures everything in that new, powerful alignment. And the result is just profound. It's not just that the wobble is gone. It's this rock-solid silence. What a great way to put it. The stool isn't fighting with itself anymore. It's found that resonance. It's not just taking up space now. It belongs there. It's perfectly at home.
Joseph's observation here. This is the whole point of the story, right here. Nothing was removed. Nothing was lost. That twist in the wood,
the very thing that was causing the wobble. Once it was realigned, it actually became the source of the stool's incredible strength. The thing that looked like its biggest weakness was turned into its greatest asset.
Okay, so, great story. But what does a wobbly stool have to do with us? Well, this is where we bring it all home. This is about how we can start to look at our own wobbles in a completely new light.
The big idea here is that all those things we sometimes see as flaws, our pasts, our struggles, our quirks, they aren't mistakes we need to erase. They are part of the material of who we are. Real strength doesn't come from cutting pieces of ourselves off so we can fit in somewhere. It comes from finding a way to bring all those different parts of us into alignment around a true, solid center.
And really, this is the ultimate message. It's such a powerful shift. Think about how much energy we spend trying to fix ourselves. What if that's not the goal at all? What if the real work is just to align ourselves, to take every piece of who we are, the good, the bad, the twisted, the beautiful, and just orient it all in the right direction?
So I'll leave you with that to think about. In your own life, in your work, your relationships, your own spirit, where are you trying to saw off a piece of yourself to stop a wobble? And what would it feel like to stop sawing and instead just gently listen and try to find a new alignment?